Hello students, now I'll be describing about the development of the eye. So we have learned about the different parts of the eye. We have learned about the blood supply of the eyeball. We learned about the nerve supply of the extraocular muscles, and as a whole extraocular muscles, the voluntary, involuntary attachment, movements in details we have learned. I also discussed about the clinical anatomy. So now let's see the development of the eye. So this is equally important to know, because once you know about the development of eye, you will know why the things are happening, why this is so, why that is so. Okay. So to begin with, there are three embryonic tissues from which you get the eyeball. Okay. Very interesting actually. Number one is the neural ectoderm. Number two is the surface ectoderm. And number three is the periocular mesenchyme. That means what you understood, it is partly ectoderm and partly from the mesenchyme or the mesoderm, okay, which is surrounding that. So just remember these three words: neural ectoderm or neuroectoderm, you can say, surface ectoderm, and periocular mesenchyme. Now I'll be explaining everything in relation with this diagram. So here you see a tube, that is the developing neural tube. Okay. So in details, you don't need so much about the development of nervous system, but part by part, somewhere or the other, you have to be knowing it. So this neural tube is divided into prosencephalon, mesencephalon, and rhombencephalon. Now that means forebrain, midbrain, and hindbrain. Now this forebrain, it is again divided into telencephalon and diencephalon. Okay, and the hindbrain is divided into metencephalon, mesencephalon, and spine. Okay, so mesencephalon will directly give you the midbrain. Now we don't need to go about all this. For today's topic, what we have to concentrate is the diencephalon, because in the diencephalon we'll get the optic vesicles. Okay, we'll get the optic vesicles. Now this is the straight tube. The same thing if you bring here. So this is after the head fold, you can see, and there is little bit of growth of the limbs, forelimbs and hind limbs here. This is the umbilical cord. This is the developing abdomen and the pharyngeal arches. You can see the bronchial arches. So here this is the mesencephalon. This is the metencephalon, mesencephalon, and this is where the diencephalon, and this is telencephalon. So in this diencephalon, we have this optic vesicle. Okay, optic means what? Eyeball. It will give something regarding to the eye. So let's see now. So as I told you, here this is the surface ectoderm. Okay, surface ectoderm, and this is the optic vesicle. What is this optic vesicle? Vesicles means something as if popping out like that. Okay, so this is the optic vesicle which is coming towards the surface ectoderm, and this is called the neural ectoderm. Okay, neural ectoderm, this is the surface ectoderm. So from the surface ectoderm, this area which is close to the optic vesicle, this area is thickened and it is called lens placode. Lens placode. Okay, and this area is called the future neural retina. You already know retina. Retina has 10 layers. Out of that, the first layer is the pigmented layer, and rest of the 9 layers are neural layer. Okay, and developmentally also today you'll see how it develops. Partly the first layer is from mesoderm, as I told you in my previous section, and rest of the 9 layers is from neural. So you see, first it is like this. Okay, next come to B. In the B, what happens? Slowly there will be going inside. So this lens placode, it became like a groove. It is a pit, okay, depression. You can see a depression. Similarly, here also it has become an optic cup, okay, optic cup. And this part which has thinned down and become the optic stalk. This area also has become thicker, okay. Now come to C. Slowly, this optic area and the lens pit has become a so closed up that it got disconnected from the surface epithelium. Okay, it become disconnected from the surface epithelium, and that gives to the lens vesicle. Okay, that means this lens vesicle is nothing but the original lens placard which has become the lens pit. Okay, and this area, okay, which it has detached area, this part will develop into the cornea, the presumptive cornea of the students. Okay, and what was this? This was the neural retina or neuroectoderm, and this is the optic cup. Okay, optic cup. So this is the inner 9 layers of retina will come from here, and this is the outer layer, and this is the optic stalk. You see that how it is coming. So this optic cup is becoming deeper and deeper, and in this its placement of the lens vesicle, and this lens vesicle will give you the future lens here. Okay, so now this was the gap between the outer layer and the inner layer. Okay, this is the outer layer, inner layer. So now the gap has been reduced. Gap has been reduced, and here lies the cornea also now developed properly. Okay, this is the lens, and this is the neural retina, and this is the outer layer. Okay, and this area will become little thickened. This will become the future ciliary body. Future ciliary body. Then what is this? This is the choroid. Okay, this is the choroid. This is ciliary body. Then little bit anteriorly it will come in front of the lens. What will be that? That will be the iris. So that's why iris, ciliary body and choroid together it is called the uveitis. Sorry, uveal tract. Sorry, uveal tract, and that is nothing but mesodermal origin. And even the sclera is also developed from the mesoderm. That is periocular mesenchymal microlumen, number 3 tissue. And this tract, this stalk of this stalk, which is becoming smaller and smaller and thinned out, this will become ultimately the optic nerve. Okay, optic nerve. Understood? So in the retina, what happens? The 9 layers are from the neural ectoderm, but the pigment layer will be derived from the mesenchyme. So if there is detachment, the detachment will happen between the pigment layer and the next 9 layers. Okay, here. Let's see this diagram. Here you can see the development of lens very clearly. So wall of the diencephalon, part of the neural tube, cavity of the diencephalon. So how the optic vesicle has formed with the optic stalk. Same thing what I have told you just now. Okay. So here you can see correlate like this. So in the beginning it will be a lens vesicle. Okay, slowly there will be development and enlargement of the cells, and there will be epithelium. So the outer layer, it will become like an epithelium surrounding the lens, and the rest of the things will be fibers. So presbyopia is what? The more of the fibers will be there, slowly cells will decrease. And cataract is another thing, with complete haziness of the immature cataract means little bit of vision is still possible. Okay, and mature cataract means complete lens becomes white. Now see this diagram. Same thing only, but I have taken different diagrams so that you more of whoever likes whatever you can take help of that. A little bit of more explanation is there. So first I'd like to tell you this already evagination, this part I told you already. Okay, so here you can see that. So the nerve will come from the brain, isn't it? It will connect with the retina. So this is the retinal pigment epithelium. Okay, and this is the neural epithelium. So here I want to concentrate here. Embryoid body made up of embryonic stem cells. Then this is the neuroectoderm. You remember neural crest cells? Okay, neuroectoderm. And here you can see the spherical vesicle, the retinal pigment epithelium. Okay, so they're little complicated. This diagram. You can prefer the previous diagram. So here this is a chart which is from your book only. Um, I like this chart, and one more I want to use this just for a revision. So most important content of the orbit is nothing but eyeball. All structures within the orbit lie inside the orbital periosteum except the infraorbital nerve and vessels and um zygomatic nerve which lie outside the orbital periosteum. Now white of the eye is, what is that? Nothing but sclera. What is uvea or uveal tract? Iris, ciliary body and head. Okay. Weakest site of sclera, I told you yesterday, lamina fibrosa. What is lamina fibrosa? From where the optic nerve will come along with the central artery, retinal artery and vein. Okay. Site of the keenest vision of retina, that is the fovea centralis. Blind spot of retina, optic disc. This whole chart is important for MCQ as well as fiber. Maximum refraction by the eye takes place at anterior surface of the cornea. So cornea has to be proper. Okay, nowadays people are going for keratoplasty. So they will do laser keratoplasty. They will do radially. They'll make cuts in the cornea to help the vision. But depends how far it will be corrected. If the that mainly done for the refractive errors. Most successful homo transplant, that is between the individual and the same species, that is the corneal transplant. Most important branch of ophthalmic artery is the central artery of retina. Why? Because if it is blocked, then there will be sudden blockage of the artery, will give sudden blindness. All of the extraocular muscles are supplied by oculomotor nerve except lateral rectus. Lateral rectus is supplied by what? LR6, abducens nerve. Canal of Schlem, that is the important area where the circular vascular channel within the sclera, just behind the sclerocorneal junction, and it helps in the free passage of aqueous humor, recirculation, everything. Okay. Blockage of the canal of Schlem will cause increased intraocular pressure leading to glaucoma. Refractive apparatus of the eye consists of number one cornea, then aqueous humor, then lens and vitreous humor. This is asked many times. What is Tenon's capsule? That is the fascia bulba. Okay, this is a thin membranous sheet enclosing the eyeball, and most common of all the operations is the cataract operation, cataract extraction. Okay, why? Can you tell me why? Because you've been hearing about it, and nowadays cataract operation, it has evolved a lot also compared to previous year. Nowadays they are going for cryosurgery. 2 years back my mother also had. They are doing cryosurgery. Cryo means with cold effect. Okay, and it helps in healing a lot. So that is a newer procedure. Okay. So I want to complete this by saying a beautiful phrase. We don't know who wrote it, so I wrote as anonymous. So our eyes are placed in front because it is more important to look at, isn't it? Then look back. So have a good day. Thank you for your patient hearing. Bye. See you.